Hi everyone, Paula Meyer here. I'm excited to announce that I'm part of another collaborative book with As You Wish Publishing. In fact, this will be my third one. The first one was called Inspirations, the second was called Manifestations, and this third one is called The Grateful Soul. It will be released on Amazon on May 19th. I love how the titles work so well together. An inspiration is a nudge we get from Spirit. When we put our intention into it and take action, and then trust in the outcome, manifestations happen. All the while, being a grateful soul allows our inspirations and manifestations to come forth. Today, I'm going to share some excerpts from my chapter on page 240 in The Grateful Soul called Aging Gratefully, the Key to Aging Gracefully. Here's how the story begins. Watching someone slowly die before your eyes is one of the most painful things to witness. My husband Gary passed on June 1st, 2018, after a long battle with cancer. He didn't have time to age gracefully. In fact, the cancer made sure it wasn't graceful at all, at least not physically. In the short time that was left, he showed me how to age gratefully, and when you can age gratefully, regardless of what your body shows you, what life shows you, or what your experiences show you, that is how you age gratefully. In this story, I talk about 3 key lessons that I learned watching Gary age prematurely and die at the young age of 62. Number 1, when he was diagnosed with throat cancer. Number 2, when it became clear that he was not going to live much longer. And number 3, 2 days before he passed. And something really amazing happened, but you'll have to get the book to read about that. In this video, I want to talk about the first one, what I learned when he was diagnosed with throat cancer, and how that parallels with what we are going through during the COVID-19 global pandemic. First, Gary did not wallow in pity or victimhood. Because of his 30-plus years on his spiritual journey, he knew he was responsible for his body's illness. Instead, he looked within and determined what emotions caused his illness. He blessed and thanked the cancer for bringing this to his attention so that he could continue to evolve his thinking and being. He was a way-shower for me about the power of expression and what the consequences are when we choose not to express our voice out of fear or unworthiness. How does this relate to the pandemic? We cannot wallow in pity or victimhood. We must have faith in a higher power. And that higher power resides within each one of us. We must take responsibility for our current circumstances and take the best course of action for our highest good. When we do that, we contribute to the collective good of everyone. And when we are right within ourselves, then we can do more to support our community. The best course of action could be continue to stay home for the safety of everyone. Get ourselves in the best shape mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. Don't let fear run recklessly through your mind. Fear is simply an emotion that alerts us to possible dangers, and our job is to assess the dangers with a calm, clear, and objective mind, and then make the best choice for ourselves. Then surrender and have trust in the outcome. Let go and let God. And don't get stuck in the Groundhog Day mentality. Yes, every day can seem the same, but the truth is we have the power to make each day different. If you're a business owner, figure out how to optimize your business in an online world. That's the way of the future. If you work for someone else, make your health and well-being a top priority. If there's a way for you to continue to work from home, ask. If not, then insist that you be given the safest options in your work environment. And then find a way to give back to your community in a way that ignites your soul. There are so many things that you can do to pay it forward. Now, back to Gary and the second thing when he was diagnosed. He opted for non-traditional therapy that was still somewhat based on traditional methods. He understood that because of the severity of the cancer, he had to have one foot firmly planted in the modern medical world, while the other foot was anchored in the spiritual world. Even though he believed he had the power within to heal himself, he knew the best outcome for his highest good would require both worlds. And while the end result wasn't the healing he had hoped for, he was gifted with a little more time to learn what he needed to learn. How does this relate to the pandemic? There are a lot of things that are out of our control. So first, we must keep one foot firmly planted in the spiritual world to serve as our anchor. That could be prayer, meditation, communing with nature, anything that grounds you to your connection with spirit. We also need to keep the other foot firmly planted in our environment. So while we are being directed on how to live during these times, remember, we have control over our space. We have the ability to make our space a sanctuary for our heart and soul, a space that's our haven, not our prison. For me personally, I'm loving that time has slowed down, that I get to enjoy my space, that I have time to nurture me. Simplicity lends itself to so much more peace, and I'm enjoying the peace. And by the way, this works for any challenge we are facing. The great thing about self-development tools is that they can be used again and again to support us through tough times. And here's how I ended the chapter. Just make sure to get the book and check out the juicy middle parts. What I've learned through this experience. Life is filled with endless opportunities to learn and grow. Many of these opportunities come from the challenges, tragedies, and breakdowns that we experience throughout our lives. There are so many things to be grateful for, even in the face of devastating loss. When we ask ourselves, what is this loss teaching me? We make a divine choice to see the bigger picture. We open our hearts to understanding and acceptance. In opening our hearts in this way, we affirm our self-love, and then we can light the way for others. Have you ever gazed upon an elderly person who is so full of love and kindness and think to yourself, I hope I can age as gracefully? Some of us will have a shorter time on this planet and won't have the luxury of physically aging gracefully. Yet we can still age gratefully by enjoying every day and expressing love, gratitude, and kindness. And when we can do that, no matter what our exit date, we age gracefully. I hope you enjoyed my story and found some value to incorporate into your life. Get the Kindle version of The Grateful Soul on launch day, May 19th for free. Yes, I said free. You'll find 80 inspiring stories about gratitude. Join me in aging gratefully. Find something to be grateful for every single day. In fact, find many things. Stay safe and be well. Bye-bye.